Hey, what's up everybody? It's the 6 Foot S.I.M.P here. And we're going to go over a video today with brother Kevin Samuels himself, the Godfather. And it's a very interesting person he's talking to. So we're going to learn some things about how people view success, money, and work ethic. So make sure you subscribe, watch the full video, like, and share. Now let's get into it.
For this conversation, what if I do, if a lot of people who, Little Dirk, I mean, even though he's a rapper, he's just about to go get his high school diploma.
Hold up. So this is something that kind of grinds my gears. Every time in our community, the black community, that we want to have some kind of barometer of success, it comes down to usually athletes, rappers, or other forms of entertainment. Now, I don't take anything away from these guys because it still takes hard work, dedication, a lot of mental toughness to stay with something so long that you can achieve a level where your life is just forever changed. You can help those around you. So hats off to these people. But we never hear anyone talk about the engineers, the doctors, the lawyers, the construction workers, the electricians, the plumbers, trades of all kind. Because these people still make decent money. Now, they may not have the glitz and the glam of a lifestyle, but I guess that's what we're in nowadays, is everything has to be shown. So it's not as appealing. And obviously it takes different types of work to get those types of jobs. So I guess it's pick your poison. But at the end of the day, there's other things we could choose.
You can obtain great success and wealth without going to school or
Okay. I'm kind of sick of this argument. And now I may sound a little biased because I do have a college education. I have a master's. I went far as a PhD, but ended up dropping out like Kanye. But the thing is, it seems like there's this war on college. Now, would I agree that do you need it to be successful? Yes, I agree you don't need it. But it's usually this misconception that anyone and everyone who just drops out can just achieve this quote unquote success, because they usually think of like a few people who did it, like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, or Mark Zuckerberg, for example. Now, all these guys made it, but let's look at the context of where they came from. They all came from affluent communities, two-parent households. Now, Steve Jobs was adopted, but nonetheless was raised by two parents. Now, that's a great predictor of academic performance, success through life, not getting addicted to drugs, and so many other things a parent would want from their child. So by default, they already were predisposed to that lifestyle. Now, on the other hand, people always argue they dropped out, but where did they drop out from? Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates dropped out from Harvard. And Steve Jobs also went to a pretty decent school. So it's like, you can't compare dropping out from Harvard or any Ivy League schools to dropping out of Nowheresville Community College. Now, this is just a misconception. You know why this is dangerous? I used to be a middle school teacher. Now, it was a predominantly black school, and I had a young black lady. This is the 8th grade. So this young lady is a woman now, well into her 20s. But she asked me, or didn't even ask me, she told me, she said, hey, I don't need to go to college. I can be successful, because there was a viral YouTube video with a spoken word artist talking about you don't need it. And granted, I told her you're right, but at the same time, you have to look at what it is. Because when you talk about those same three guys, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they had IQs above average. So at young ages, they were creating computer programs and making things that would even lay the foundation for the greatness they would achieve. So you got to look at that part of it.
Working a job. Honestly, name one job that I can work with a degree that will bring me in more than $5 million a year.
Woo! $5 million a year. What does she think the median or even the average U.S. salary is, regardless of race or gender? Does she really think it's anywhere over 100,000, let alone 5 million? So it's like she's reaching for the stars, and I get that. But I don't think she really realized how much money that really is.
Am I going to obtain the money that I want to obtain working for somebody else?
Nope. But the thing is, what are you going to do otherwise? You're going to start a business?
Where I'm going to get it? In the government? Like where I'm going to get it? Like I want to build generational wealth, and I'm not going to do that really working for somebody else. I have to have different streams of income.
Okay, so not that far into the video, and that's sad. Only about 35 seconds, but she said a whole lot of nothing, because she's saying, can I make $5 million? How I'm going to do that? The fact that she doesn't even have an idea shows that she's not going to really make it, because give you some context. Kevin has already established she's 26 years old. She lives at home with her parents. She doesn't really have a career. She has a job. I think she said waitress. And she said in her own admission of herself saying she's not good with money. She said she used to just go out and party all the time. She's 26 with nothing to her name. She even admitted that she hasn't done nothing significant since high school. So where is this money supposed to come from? Now, she says start a business, and that's great. Obviously, I'm a business owner, and I get it. But I don't sugarcoat the fact like some of these self-help gurus like Grant Cardone or Gary Vee, and it's nothing against them. They preach about the hardships of entrepreneurships, and they don't make it seem easy. But a lot of times people negate the fact, since they're so successful, that it's just no hardship in between. It's just start the business and you're a millionaire. Snap of the finger, which is not true.
You know this. You don't just have one job. That's why even when you were 26, you had two. You understand? Like, I get it. Like, I do need a job to fund things, but I'm thinking bigger than working for somebody else for the rest of my life. Who wants to do that?
Just like there's a war on education in college, there's a war on the 9 to 5. Now, I'm an entrepreneur, so I can't say that this is the lifestyle for me. I've done it though. That's the difference between me and this girl. I've actually done it. Now, is it easy? Is it hard? That's all in the eye of the beholder. But at the end of the day, this notion that if you're not working for yourself, you're just some kind of miserable failure, we got to get out of that, because there's so many pluses and minuses depending on how you look at it. The benefits of a 9 to 5, you got consistent, steady income. For the most part, you know you're going to get paid. The benefits of an entrepreneur, you kind of control your income, but that could be bad if you don't have clientele or services coming in. So depending on how you look at it, they both have pluses and minuses, advantages and disadvantages. But this notion that it's just you're a lame, a loser, a scrub, whatever, if you don't work for yourself, that's just misleading.
You're not working for somebody else, and I'll be damned if you start working for somebody else again, because you're not. So because you already experienced how it feels to work for yourself, and the money you're making now, you would have never obtained working for corporate or selling computers or phone, whatever the fuck you said you were selling.
She must be Capital One. What's in your wallet? Because she's definitely telling this man what he's made or not made, and the disrespect that she doesn't even know what he did and just saying, oh, whatever you were doing. Like, it's like her tone in general, like, let's not even go into that, but it's just all bad.
You would not be making the money you make now doing that shit, and you know it. So why are you on here trying to cap? You're a businessman yourself. And because, oh, now I'm, what are you, 56? I don't know. So now you're 56 and you're Kevin Samuels and you got 10,000 people on your Instagram. You forget the journey. You don't wake up Kevin Samuels. I'm not gonna wake up the person I am.
It's interesting, the notion that she's assuming his level of success based off his social presence on YouTube or Instagram or wherever that may be. Now, yes, that can play into it, and there's this misconception, I think, that people who have a lot of followers have a lot of money, and that's just not true.
I am going to be in 10, 15 years. You have to understand that you have to start somewhere. And the fact that I even have this mindset to where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to work for somebody for the rest of my life. I want to have my own business. I want to bring about multiple streams of income. I want to create generational wealth.
I wish we could get paid off of just mindset alone. Boy, she has a lot to learn.
And you trying to downplay it? You can downplay it. Everybody gonna downplay it until the business.
All right. So now, exactly. So I want you to, all that stuff she just said.
And that's that.
No. How much did you make last year?
Kevin, I used to be a server. I made $100,000.
How much did you make last year?
Probably, like, honestly, realistically, through the pandemic, still about $75,000 last year.
Honestly, realistically, what does he mean? Fictionally? Like, no, what did you make on your pay stubs at the end of the year? Gosh.
Here.
And what does your father do for a living?
He works for the government. He works just in DIA.
What does your mother do for a living?
Sit real pretty, manage the bills, and do her own finances and things like that.
So you made 7.
Hold up. So I'm looking at more so just her attitude on work and money. But let's take a look at how she just said with her mannerisms. She said, what does her dad do? She said, just the government. The government don't do nothing for him. But then when he asked what her mom does, she basically, in lesser words, says or more words, I should say, this lady talks too much. She says she's a stay-at-home wife. And she said it with so much pride, a smile. But when she talked about her father, it was like, oh, he just worked for the government. Like, it was no big deal. Like, to work for the government, regardless of what your position, takes some kind of, ability.
So you made $75,000 last year?
Correct.
Okay. And you live at home and you're not paying any rent?
Kevin.
No, man, Ma'am, I'm just asking. No.
I never said I manage my money.
Hold on. I just need to answer my question. I'll let you talk. I just let you go on that law. Thank you. So you
did.
Okay,
No,
excuse me. Because I just let you dig a ditch. I just let you dig. No, I'm not going. That's quicksand. I can't get you out of there. You're dead.
Nah, help me, Kevin.
Do you guys notice that she has something to say for everything, a rebuttal for every response that Kevin has, and that's very like disrespectful, one, but it also means you have a lot to say with no real meaning or substance.
Help me.
No, ma'am, after listening to what I just heard, I can't help you. So but I have some questions. So my question, but here's my question. $75,000.
Correct.
Okay, but you're not, okay, all right. And your father works in the government. Did your father go to college?
No.
Your mother go to college?
Yes.
Okay. Does either one of your parents make $5 million a year?
No, not a year. No.
Okay.
See how she says no, not a year. Like, no, per week, per day. Definitely don't make $5 million a year. Come on now.
What percentage of people in this country make more than $100,000? What percentage of women make more than $100,000?
I feel as though I feel as though maybe a lot. I would say like at least now.
What percentage? What percentage?
I want to give women. I want to give it maybe 40, 50, 60% around there. Around that.
40, 50, 60%. Meaning the majority of women. And I'm not sure if she's saying that because she's just really naive on how much money people make, or she's on that kind of feminist, women are the future, females future, or the future's female type vibe. So maybe that's why she said it, but I'm going to go with naive.
6%?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
6% of women in the United States make over $100,000.
Mm-hmm. Only 9% of black women earn more than $75,000 a year.
Because black women working for somebody else. Black women need to step the fuck up and get and boss up and open that business.
See, there we go again with the shaming of the 9 to 5. She says black women need to boss up and open a business. That's very, very naive thinking. She really seems not have a thought of her own. And it's kind of like she's just regurgitating things she hears from all these independent type artists or entertainers who have it. Granted, they do. But they're selling this dream that everyone can just be this millionaire mogul, and that's just not the case. And to shame people for doing a 9 to 5, which is the majority of us, make it make sense.
Get that business or open
that
business.
So you made $75,000. You made $75,000 last year. What'd you make the year before?
Probably like around like 60, 65.
Okay. And you have all that. No, ma'am. I'm just. So you making this kind of money. What state are you in?
Maryland.
So you're in Maryland. You're making this kind of money, and you had credit issues that you said were prohibiting you from doing so.
Back from
Stop, ma'am. I'll let you talk.
Okay.
So all this money you're making, but you're still not living on your own. You're not paying anything for rent, and you put nothing into any real structural things that are going to give you any kind of real high-income compensatable skills.
Kevin,
ma'am,
I would be lying.
Ma'am, that's just the reality of it. So, and if you know anything about me, I'm a proponent for people being servers and salespeople and all that kind of stuff. So apparently you don't watch what I talk about, but the net of it is this. You think 40% of women make $100,000. And you said, you know, what if next year and all this stuff about this and that and $5 million, as if $5 million just grows on trees. Do you know anybody that makes $5 million a year?
That was my point, Kevin.
Do you know anybody?
See, that's a cop-out. She says she's in her process. He asked a very valid question. And I mentioned earlier how I've been in circles, I've been in meetings, worked with business and consulted to talk about different things that involve $1 million deals sometimes. And the fact is, I'm surrounded by people just like this. Now, does it mean I'm going to be a millionaire? Who knows? But the thing is, for it even to be in a question, I need to be in those circles. And for her to say, I'm going to get in the door eventually. It's kind of like that manifest type mindset. Like if I just dream it, wish it, want it, I'll eventually get there, but there's really no footwork going on.
Do you know anybody that makes $5 million a year?
No.
Honestly, no.
Where did this appetite come from?
Honestly, this appetite came from me, like me.
Nah. It came from social media, watching famous people stunt, rappers, entertainers, athletes.
Me seeing people who are 12 years old, multimillionaires.
Where'd you see these people?
Okay, I don't know where you're going. You're talking about.
Okay. So did you just say 12-year-olds making millions? Granted, that does happen. 7-year-olds reviewing toys and 12-year-olds playing games and making millions off of tournaments. That does happen. So she's not like completely wrong. But it goes back to possibility versus probability. It's possible, but the probability of anyone, let alone a 12-year-old making millions, is very, very low. She's pretty much using outliers. Anyone took statistics understand that an outlier does not represent the population. If we went off the outliers, then nothing could be generalized and we would really have no facts in the world.
On social media, and you're talking about.
I don't know, ma'am. I'm asking you. I don't know. I'm asking you.
I see it.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you. What I'm asking, ma'am, is I'm talking to a woman who said your parents have been married for more than 25 years.
Correct.
Your father didn't go to college as your mother did. Your mother stays at home. Your father works a government job. Sound like solid middle class people. And they sound like they provided you with an exceptional middle class lifestyle to where over at least half of your friends, their mothers and fathers are still married.
Correct.
And I'm talking to a woman who is on some glam up, manifest, I can go from this to $5 million business in 1 year. Ma'am, I'm stopped. I don't need that. No. I heard you in your diatribe.
Kevin.
I heard you, ma'am, you don't even, the fact of the matter is, you don't even understand what you just done. That whole diatribe you were on said more than I could ever say. You're living in a fantasy. You don't, so basically, your father and your mother's lifestyle wouldn't be good enough for you.
It's crazy. Me and my dad talk about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It would be good, but it's average. You just said middle class. Are you living a middle class lifestyle? And if you aren't, would you go back to it?
So this is what this comes down to. This is why most people hate the 9 to 5, because it's average. And I just talked about statistics. And what does average mean? It means more than likely, if I was just to grab a random sample of people, they would more than likely fall under this amount or this type. So we're talking about jobs, career, and income. If I grab 100 people at random, more than likely they would make between $40,000, $50,000 a year. That's why averages are important, because it represents the population. It doesn't mean that you're good. Statistics are amoral. They have no good or bad connotation. It's how you interpret them can, but the actual numbers just tell you what is happening. This whole notion that, oh, for average you're not good enough. No, it just means that you're hitting or earning or doing what majority of people do.
That's a real question. Would you trade up your millions of dollars or whatever? Would you trade this Instagram to go
Once again, in his wallet, and then talking about social media and fame.
go back and work a job? Please answer that, Kevin. Would you?
The difference, excuse me, check that shit. The difference between me and you is I've earned everything I got. You just got a motherfucking opinion.
Kevin.
Every step, shut up. Every step of the way, I have made myself valuable over my 52 fucking years. Everything that I have is I've earned. See, what you think is Instagram and YouTube, because this social media shit has got you little young people's mind twisted.
Exactly what I said. Social media be telling these kids lies.
You think just because I have Instagram and YouTube, they don't pay you on Instagram and YouTube just because people don't come listen to me just because I'm popular. I know what I'm talking about. I've got 20 plus years of experience to pull from. $6 million worth of sales training, multiple different certifications. I am a competent professional. So stop trying to compare yourself to me. Stop.
I'm not trying to compare. I'm trying to
Stop.
obtain.
Stop.
And he made a great point. She's trying to be the butterfly without the caterpillar. I heard that on an Outkast song, one of my favorite groups years back. In Due Time is the name of the song. And that's what she's trying to do. And I get she wants to be great, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he said something perfect. In his 52 years, millions of dollars of training, just training, that means all his money was spent to make him able to do what he needs to do. And on top of learning, failures, trials, tribulations, and then actually having successes to build up on. And then, like he said, he didn't just get famous because he just talked. Anyone can do that, but he had real information that was helpful.
No, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And the fact of the matter is, I'm telling you, because the fact of the matter, you called your father average. You said that they are average. You said they're average. You said your parents, you said your mother and father are average. You entitled, I swear to God, that's the final straw with me, lady. You said that they're middle class and that's average. As a high school graduate selling bundles, thinking that and you ain't got to pay shit. I hope your father never hears what you said.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, hope her parents never hear this, because for someone who lives at home rent free, calling her parents average and definitely meaning in a negative way, you couldn't make this up. This is how ungrateful, I hate to say it, women can be, but people can be. It's not just women, but let's be real. It's more likely to come from women when it's coming to money, career, average at best type things, because everyone wants to be great, but it's a little more so on the female population.
I hope he doesn't hear it, because that's insulting. They provided you with something that you don't even think. You look at that man who's sacrificing, that woman who sacrificed, and you just shit on everything that they said in front of thousands of people. Don't you think people know your family? Like you said, you got 10, 12,000, got $1 million over here. You don't think somebody gonna hear and say, "God damn, do you know what your daughter said about you?"
So we're going to stop the video right here. This is some pretty interesting stuff, as you can see. Very educational in so many ways. It shows us how some parts of human behavior can go. And like I said, this is how people look at work, ethic, money, resources. It's a very, very skewed view of things. And I definitely blame social media and our athletes, entertainers, and not in a negative way. Like I said, it's not to blame and say it's their fault, but this is what is being portrayed. So of course, this is what people are going to strive for. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, people. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep it simple.